So we will see how a college has accused a teacher of being the worst villain of 2023, which is a white savior. Can you imagine? And I have found this on the place where you go to get the best wisdom on the internet, which is Reddit. Isn't that right? So, what horrible gesture has this evil teacher done in order to be accused of committing the crime of being a decent human being? Well, apparently, she says that we had the student with hygiene issues, and this was lasting for several months. A couple of people have talked to him, and he was always like, yeah, sure, I will take a bath. But yesterday, it was so bad that the entire hallway smelled, and students refused to stay in the same class with him. As the internet likes to put it, imagine the smell. So I pulled him aside and really talked to him, and found out that he is homeless. So he couldn't take a shower. I found out that we have a shower in our gym, so I went to the office and got permission for him to come in before school today, and whatever he needed to take a shower. He mentioned he might need soap or stuff. So this morning before school, I went to Walmart and got him some stuff. I got him every personal care item that he may need. Now, here is the sin, right? Like, this is where the teacher done fucked up. I am white. In America? Oh my god. Don't know anything about caring for black hair. I mean, it's probably like an encyclopedia about it, right? Like, she couldn't Google it, and she did the horrible mistake of asking her colleagues, which are more progressive and forward-thinking and tolerant than she is. So she had a lady at Walmart help her pick up the products that were needed for the hair tie. I also got him a couple of shirts, so he wouldn't have to put a dirty shirt back on after showering. I told him to write down his sizes and I would get him what he wanted. Now, of course, the righteous moral indignation from the progressive people has immediately appeared. And one of her colleagues said that it wasn't right in helping this kid. Like, you do not just go out and commit basic, decent acts, okay? Like, you can't be like a normal human. Like, look, your crime, as mentioned here, is you're white. You're not allowed. Like, before committing an act of kindness in 2023, right, in a progressive society, you need to make sure that you do it based on the phenotype. Like, you need to go to a 23andMe and do the genetic testing, because otherwise you get the colleagues upset. Like, the woke people are very fragile, you know? Like, if you commit an act of kindness and it makes them look bad because they don't, they start getting upset. So, apparently, she was labeled a white savior. She asked if I was going to do this for all the students, right? So, like, you can't just, like, give money to a you have to give money to all the beggars. That's how it works, right? Like, this is how charity functions in a normal and healthy and liberal society. You can't just help one person. Like, if you see a person that has a flat on the corner of the street, you can't help them because, like, are you going to help all of the people that have flat tires? No, right? You're doing this because you're a white savior. She says that I can't help every kid, but I can help this one. And this one needed my help. I wasn't trying to come in and assess my privilege. Well, I'm glad that she's aware that she has it. Right? Like this is my privilege is to help you in your hour of need. I just genuinely know what it's like to be the stinky kid. How does she know what it's like to be the stinky kid? See, this is the question. And wanted to help. Your kids were throwing up yesterday. He stunk so bad. I cannot imagine how... Well, they were probably racist as well. I cannot imagine how much that shirt hurt his psyche to have happen. I honestly don't know how to respond to this. Now, what's interesting is, like, as you can see, a lot of people commented and were siding with this teacher because, like, this teacher is actually an example that needs to be emulated. Like, helping people in need is the correct human thing to do. And not to mention the way that she actually treated this incident. Like, she didn't ask the kid in front of the class. It's like, hey, why are you saying... No, like, she pulled him aside and had the normal conversation with him. It's like, okay, maybe he has a problem, in which case this kid actually did. And then she's like, okay, well, how can I solve the problem? She didn't ask, like, the school for money or anything. She paid it from her own pocket. Now, what I find very interesting about this ideology, imagine if you're the kid, right? The thing is, like, I am so glad I'm not the minority in the United States because Heaven forbid you get these activists. Like, with these activists, you don't need any enemies. So you have like a person that's helping you, and the activist, which doesn't even care about you, doesn't help you, is going to tell the person helping you, hey, check your privilege. Hey, you're doing stuff. Do not help this guy. Isn't that interesting? And they do it out of compassion and empathy. And I have seen this time and time again, right? Like, this actually happened at a much grander scale in UK regarding politics. There was this Labour MP which shamed people for donating money to Africa. Like, isn't that interesting? Like, they had a couple of charities that would go to needy people in Africa, and he makes, like, this whole thing. It's like, hey, you know, like, you're always showing, like, the poor and the poverty in Africa. There's very rich places in Africa, and your commercials are racist and blah, blah, blah. So donations to the African charity went down. Like, this is what these activists are doing for the actual people on the ground. I am so glad I do not have activists. Like that would scare me, you know? If there was ever an activist, like, I'm doing activists for cisgender straight white men, I'll be like, holy shit. Oh, just, no, please. Please. Because they don't poll their community. They don't actually do surveys. They don't see what the people want, right? Like, no, they dictate what the people should want. And in this case, they're dictating for this homeless person not to get help from this teacher. Which, by the way, the teacher did nothing wrong. The moderators took down this because people were siding with the teacher. Like, this is why I even presented it. Because again, like, it got 11.5 thousand upvotes, right? Like, people were interested in the story. But the moderators, they're like, no, we can't have this. And they removed it. This is a place where teachers should basically connect with each other and exchange advice and stuff like that. And in my opinion, like, helping a student, it's good advice. Like, think about it from the perspective of the kid as well. Like, my God, you know, like, if you're homeless and you're still going to school, mad respect. If I was a kid and I was homeless, like, the last thing I would do is go to school. Like, why even bother at that point? Like, going to school is something that I genuinely didn't like. So you have to wake up early in the morning. You have to do the homework. I hated that as a kid. You know, like, oh, well, I'm homeless. At least I have free time. Now, some people say, well, it's to get free food. Dude, you get food by begging. It's not something that's really difficult. Right? Like, you don't see beggars dying out of starvation in a capitalist society. You just beg a little bit and you're going to get food. That's not the problem. No, like, this kid, I genuinely believe that he's going to school in order to put himself through an education. And it takes a lot of discipline. Like, when I was a kid, my mom was forcing me out. It's like, oh, get up. Go to school. And I'm like, I don't want to. So, he is to be commended. And this teacher is to be commended. The people who shouldn't be commended are the progressive, open-minded, tolerant, and very empathetic people that are like, oh my God, well, white savior complex. Yeah. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.